Okay, cool. Welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Talk Cycling with Almost Elites. Um, I've got a few guys with me today, and we're going to be discussing something very, very, very interesting. We had a Wafa in the past weekend, where a group of guys from different teams really just came together to have a group ride and to have some fun on the road and challenge each other. So Donald, if you can maybe take 1 minute to just to quickly explain what exactly Wafa is and what purpose does it serve?
So Wafa is a fundraise here ECC. So the aim was just to bring guys together and just ride. But in the same breath, we said we don't want to just ride and say, okay, let's just go from point one to point two. There are certain segments on the route, and then we said, okay, whilst we're doing this, let's challenge the segments and see who can ride faster on these segments. Hence, we said, okay, there's a com. So there's a com, and that's why after a com, we wait, regroup, and then we go, and then again another segment where we say, okay, this is a sprint. And then after the sprint, we wait, we regroup, and then we go to the finish and see who can finish. So Wafa is not a race. It is a fun race. That has got a bit of six gun and a bit of spice there and there. So that it shouldn't be just your normal ride. No, it must just be a bit of fun, and guys must have fun whilst doing it. Yeah.
No, thanks, man. Yeah, so I just want to introduce everyone on the call here. So if you can, say your name, say which team you're riding for, or we're riding for at the event. So I'll just quickly go around the table. So KG, Voice, Donald, and Sihle.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kake Josemage, and I cycle for Vugani under the VA group.
Katabula.
Yeah, go back. All those names, but yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
How's it, guys? My name is Voice. I'm from Aki. I also ride in the age categories, specifically the VA. Same as Katla, who race together in the VAs. So yeah, that's pretty much me.
Okay, so my name is Donald. I don't ride. If I do ride, I'm in the open seated, but I coach the ECC guys, all the elites and the VA guys. And then again, if I ride, I'm in the open seated. So I'm just a fun ride, social ride.
Sihle.
Sanibonani bafethu, usihle lona wethi mazidlala nawe. Yeah, ngibuye kahle bafethu. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I just wanna get a good understanding of it, each member's team, So a couple of us came with our teammates. I had my Almost Elite teammates, which was Mandla, Keho, and Lizo, who was a dog that didn't have a leash on the day. But we'll discuss that in a bit. So that was our team. So KG, who did you bring with you on the event?
Yeah, basically the people that I came with from my club. Please forgive me if I forgot any names, but I mainly was with Setumo, Spusiso Kanyile, I was with Sku, Ngeba, Kelvin, Bongane, Kamwe, Klepton, and yeah, the rest of the guys were riding on the B group. But maybe
it's a full team, man. That's a proper team, man. You got there.
No, I think we were well represented on the days.
Definitely, and I think you use your numbers to good effects. And Donald, who was in ECC?
So in the A group, we had Vini, Mazola, Toto, Roni, Nati, Tabang, Khotso, Edward, and then Katli. That's a few of our juniors. that we had brought in to. So basically, we had a full contingent. The only person who was missing there, it was Kamo, who was missing. But in the A group, we had all the guys there. And then in the ladies category, because it was a competing one, we had Bonkle and Tandi and Tumi. So we had 3 ladies from ECC.
Yeah, I think Vuane also had I think they had 3 ladies.
Yes.
The ladies,
Yeah.
which was Refilwe, Terry, and I
Terry.
think Lerato.
Also at Lerato, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And voice, I think you also had a full spot there. Super Tomeskin.
we
The champion.
The smoking gun, this one.
yeah. It's a smoking what? Can't say it's a smoking what?
Smoking gun.
Yeah, no, from Baaki we had we were well represented on the day. Maybe I can just to mention the few guys that were there. Other guys were in the big group. In the A group in the main, it was myself and also Scooter and also Tabiso as well, who was in the A group, and Let's and also Tumo and Bongs as well. And Taiki as well was there. I'm not sure if I'm missing the other guys, but I'll only focus on the guys that were in the A group. But in the main all the time in the action where the things were happening, it was myself and the Scooter and Leds. Those were the guys who were in the key moments of the race, in the key moments of the ride. Each time we were there in the front, anticipating any move that may happen. Yeah. So yeah, even Bongs was there as well. That's pretty much what the guys were in the A group. So I'm not gonna go in the B group. If I forgotten other guys, they will forgive
was
me.
There. Beat.
Yes,
Tumo was there. Unfortunately, he had a mechanical issues 5 kilometers into the right. He went inside the pothole and then he had a double puncture, and he couldn't, even if after changing the tires, the tubes, to be able to get back to the bunch. I don't think he would have able to succeed with the pace that we were riding at. The bunch was riding at. So while we were there, I tried to find out where is he, because I couldn't see him in the main bunch. Then eventually, Bongs told me that he had a mechanical issue at the back.
No, that's unfortunate. And then
Sihle, it was serious unfortunate.
And then Sihle, uban bese team yakho.
We had about 10 cyclists who are called now. Espeto Dawu, my captain. Espeto Papi Matanana. Espeto Debza, the carbon body. Espeto Lee, the lava boy. Espeto no Bongsuto.
Hey, I'm a nickname man.
I'm a nickname Pela fit, but he go a bunch. Amachitalago so pet mtambo wabonile Udawu. At some point na busy I lead a bunching, and I had Papi no carbon body. After I come game breakaway at least for about 17 kilometers by Tonsakambi.
Yes. No, we'll talk about that. So part of the discussion I want to have is the game plan going into the race. I'm sure you guys discussed it with your teammates, and I can speak from my side. We definitely didn't have any ambitions of winning any jersey, so Donald calling us the protagonist. I'm telling you, we had no ambition.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
I don't believe you either.
My man.
You can never believe inside.
Our plan going into the ride was to try and impact that ride as much as possible. So cause as much disruption and chaos as much as possible, so that we try and impact the results at the end of the day. And you'll see that's why, first of all, as soon as Mazola launched that first attack, I was the one to bridge it because I didn't want to let it go. And I realized that it cost me a bit because, climbing, towards that comb, it was heavy legs for me. And then, also put in, an attack, which was, not responded to, but you can kind of see the game plan that we're playing. It wasn't to try and win. It wasn't to try and, beat the Vuganis, ECCs and Baakis of the world, but it was really to try and impact it. So I just want to find out from you guys, what was discussed after coffee rides, and stuff like that. Sihle, do you want to go first, man?
We came in with a plan which is Funupamba with 3 Amajizi. But things happened. But however, the main objective was to test training programs if ever we are ready for big stages, the cycling, was just to test where we are in terms of e-development.
Okay, no, that's great, man, and I think we'll talk about what exactly one of your riders did later on now, because that was very impressive from me. And then Voice, let's hear from you, man.
Yeah, well, the game plan thing, we had a number of chats in our group discussing the issue of the game plan, but looking at the guys that we had on the day, our plan was to go to enjoy the ride, go and support the charity ride. As Donald said, it was a charity ride. To raise funds for the guys. Ours was just to be there and support ECC on the day, and the turnout from our side was good. But coming to the plan, we didn't really have a plan. I always knew that in terms of the numbers, in terms of the power, the guys that we're bringing into the A group, we were not sure whether we'll be able to compete. But I, for one, I said to the guys, look, let's just go there and ride with the ECC. And I said to the guys, our surprise package will be scooter. And indeed, he did deliver on the day. But we didn't come with any aim to go for any JC. But when we doing the briefing, I said to Scooter and the guys, let's just be at the right moment, at the right time. Let's make sure that we are always, our positioning in the bunch is always key. Stay in front where you can anticipate any move that is being any other team will be making. And indeed, our plan worked out on the day. We were in front. We've anticipated all the move. At the end of the day, Scooter, we managed to get 2 JCs on the day. I think our plan worked according to how we had anticipated to work. Just to be there in front, position yourself better, anticipate any movement. If there's a breakaway that is going, you go with the breakaway. Anything can happen from there. We didn't really expect to say we are aiming going for a specific JC or for the ultis. Our main aim was to be at the right time, at the right moment of the ride. We always knew that Scooter has got a kick in terms of sprinting, but if you look in terms of how he won the comb and also how he won the sprint, I was always there with him. He was behind me when the ECC guys, Mazola launched the attack and the comb. I was there and I said to him, follow the move, go with them. Eventually, I think what worked to our advantage is that the ECC guys, Mazola and Veni, launched too early and they faded away before the finish line. The same applies with the sprint. Mazola launched too early, where he faded away before he could. So that's where Scooter capitalized.
Yeah, man. I just wanna, Donald, I'll come back to you. I just wanna talk about that comb first, right? And Katleho, very well done to you for coming third there, man. I think it was really, really tough, right? So can you take us through, what happened, KG? Because I think you were one of the only few people that could respond to the move when Veni launched.
Yeah, man. You know what? First of all, I'd like to say all the teams rode super well on the day. Especially on the first 10 kilometers, it was very technical. You could see that everyone was super prepared in terms of planning, even though Vaki is saying that they didn't come with a plan and all that, but no, it didn't.
Nice.
That's super domestic, yes, your boys.
Yeah, no,
but no, I'm not shying you, gents. But honestly speaking, look, with my experience of riding in the VAs, and also Scooter being, we know he's got the power, the firepower to be able to challenge for the chases, but we had to manage his energy not to go too early and fade. I always say to him, always make sure you position yourself better. Don't go too much in front and work in front. If I should be in front, I'll go in front and do the work, but try and save your energy where you can. Don't just go in front or follow any movement in the attacks, because eventually you are being your own matches. When we get to the key moments of the ride, you won't have anything to respond. So in a nutshell, he did listen to me, and I'm glad that he listened to me, and we managed to get 2 jerseys.
Yeah,
I think
I want to still discuss the column there. I still want to discuss the first, because it was for me. Sorry?
You are not setting. So you want to get into the grit of the KOM.
No, I need to understand what happened, and I think it was between 3 teams. It was between Vugani, ECC, and Vaki, right? When I look at the footage, when the boys launched, I think Mazola was following Vini, and Katleho, you followed immediately, and then Mazola kind of faded away, and that's where I think Vaki and Vini were in front, and then you tried to follow KG. What then happened for me was quite interesting, and when I look at the footage, voice forgive me here, but when I look at the footage, it looked like Vini had the upper hand, because what he would do is he would sprint and then look back, and then Scooter would catch up, and then sprint again and then look back, and then Scooter would catch up. And I think Scooter really was tired and fed up with it, and that's when he attacked and went for the win. And unfortunately, I think there was uncleating and so on. But that's part of cycling. KG, do you think you would have taken it had you done anything differently?
Well, honestly, my man, it was a tough one to compete at, but I'm glad I did. It was fun, although I didn't have proper legs to do the finishing. But I can safely say, myself, I think I've exposed myself too much, especially in the KOM, because there were a couple of moments where I was riding alongside the guys there. Had I had been the 4th guy, maybe to see almost the final move, because ultimately I think I was exposed and I couldn't do much in terms of the final stage. But the guys really gave it a good kick. Don't take anything away from them. They gave it a good kick.
And then Donald, from your side, is there anything that you saw?
I'm listening. Vaki, don't lie and say you never planned. I knew you guys had a plan. But I must say, maybe let me start by saying well done to the teams. I think we knew. I mean, I've been checking all the guys, and the guys have been putting in a lot of work. I don't sure whether they're preparing for Wafa or guys were just putting in work under general. I do not know, but I saw a lot of guys putting work. So already we knew what to expect. We knew what to expect. So one of the things that I said to the guys that, listen, we are not going to change the way we ride. We all know how ECC rides. We are not going to change the way we ride. we are tech masters, you know. That's how we route. We know endurance is endurance. A lot of teams can. If I say to Vaki now or to other teams, let's start from here to point B, 200 kilometers at a certain average. I know guys will do it, you know. So I said, listen, we have to ride this fundraiser the way we want it. That's why from the start Mazola went chook, because we wanted to shake the bunch.
Yeah, he cost me, that guy, man. He cost me
That
the com. I could have taken the
that was
jersey.
the plan. That was the plan. That was the plan, because we knew if we could release any other person other than Mazola or Vini, guys will not follow.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
we
true,
had to
man.
release them and say, Mazola, you go first. They are going to follow you. So the plan was simple. We needed to eat a bit of your energy, you know, installments, just to eat a bit, you know. By the time we get to Com, guys must have lost a bit of power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, fair
The
enough.
guys must have lost a bit of power because of
Fair enough.
if ever we had to, let's say from Mall of the South until Panda, we were all riding at an average of 30, for example. Everybody will still be fresh.
Yeah. No, that's
So we had to play that tactic, and fortunately, some fell into our trap, and they fell into the trap. So from there on, when they caught us, we just had to keep it hard, you know, because we needed to go
man.
up.
So I want to move on to the next sort of key moment of the ride, which I think was just after the com, right? And I mean, from an almost elite side, we really didn't anticipate a break going from the com to the sprint, because it's like 60 kilometers in the wind. It really didn't make sense to be in a break, right? But we did see a break go, and that was Timas Lalnawe who shook things up, right? And I think Vaki was also represented. Scooter was in that break, and then Voice, I saw you trying to bridge, and I don't know what happened, but you came back to the peloton as well. Yeah, you'll tell us what happened just now. But I mean, you know, kudos to the team as well. Now it was very young boys. We had a man also in there, Lizo, who was the oldest. You know, probably twice the age of one of those boys. But I mean, kudos to Tim Azlal now for really leading that breakaway. And at some point, I really thought it's gonna go, but unfortunately, the wind played a big part, right? So, you know, speaking of which, Voice, I think, you know, you probably did the most work in that crosswind section. And, you know, I suffered proper. I was in that gutter. I mean, I remember talking to KG. He was asking me what's wrong, and I'm like, dude, I'm suffering, and he told me no. So I mean, you know, tell us, Voice. You know, did you want to split it at the crosswinds? Was that the plan?
Let me take us like back in that break. I knew immediately after the com that there's too much wind. The break won't go away. So why I bridged to the group, I wanted to unfortunately we don't have the radios to talk to each other. So I wanted to get to Scooter to tell him to say, look, there's no need for you to go with this break because there's a lot of wind. I said to him, should he feel he can go with the break, but he must just make sure that he saves his image. And of which eventually we did caught up with the group, and then I went in front. I was pacing. I could feel there's a lot of wind. And then I remember at some point I, tried to call someone to come and work in front. There was no one who wanted to work in front, so I took it upon myself to say this is the section where we need to use it to so that the guys can start building their own matches slightly, slowly, but eventually, of which it did work. I did a very long pull, pulling it very hard. At some point, I remember Mazola said to me, in fact, I think it's Hank. I said, guys, let's work together. We had a bit of a gap. We said, let's work together here and then so that we can maximize this breakaway. Henky said no. Nagi chai seeds. He said Nagi chai seeds. And then from that moment, I knew that there's no one who's going to work. Then Mazola realized that because there's no one who's going to work, I continue to pace at a very hard pace. And then Mazola said to me, "Voice, take it easy, voice. Take it easy, voice. Easy." So
The race, man.
even
The race.
yeah, even was feeling it. I mean, for him to eventually say, "I must take it easy," he was feeling the heat. So yeah, I did work, and then from there, I think we regrouped again. After we regrouped, and then we continued to pay, and then KG as well. Yeah, I must say KG and Ronnie, they did really work as well. I mean, the guys who were pulling in front in most of the time was KG, myself, and also Ronnie. And yeah, even you guys, almost elite. What is his name? Lizzo did Lizzo did some pulling, you know. Yeah, and there was a lot of damage at the back. Eventually, when I look at the back, when I look at the back, we had a big group. In that breakaway, I could see the heavyweights, all the heavyweights were there. That was pretty much.
Yeah, that was a very crucial moment, and that's where positioning, I think, was very, very important. You know, I got caught out a few times where I was eating the wind. So I mean after that crosswind section, we then turned right into a tailwind, and that way Katlego decided to launch, you know, one of the smartest moves I've seen in cycling. I think it comes with you guys racing in the license category. Tell us about that, KG, man, because that was I thought, damn, that's a smart move.
Yeah, Eugene, you know what? I think reading the race situation or the ride situation, I mean, you could almost see that, okay, now everyone is hanging on for their dear lives because it was a bit of a drag, and then it was also
and voice
trying to hide, and now obviously everyone is sort of waiting for that next move. So what's going to happen? I mean, looking at the direction of the wind, I saw that, you know what, whilst everyone is still thinking that when we turn right, we're going to have a little bit of a breather, let's just rather use this moment just to spice things up a little bit. I mean, after all, I mean, it seemed like voice was working and a few other guys, but I really took it on the scruff of the neck at that moment to say, you know what, timing it well, few 100 meters towards turning right, let me rather turn hard, and then let me just try and sprint and open a gap as much as possible. So that worked. But when I looked at the back 2 or 3 kilometers later, I think I had company because voice had recovered. So I think it chased me well. And then coming with voice, we also had, who's the guy again from ECC?
I think Mazola was there in there.
No,
Mazola was there. Yeah.
No, it was
Mazola was there.
It was Veni. It was Veni.
It was
Veni. Yeah, it was Veni.
When voice, you came with Veni, and then you tried switching things up. But by the time you came, I think you brought in the rest of the peloton as well. But we kept up with the high pace, which I think it was one of the most exciting sections for me.
Yeah. And I mean, like Voice said, Ronnie played a very crucial part there. I think he was maybe, you know, if we had domestic awards, he would get second prize, you know, close to Voice.
Right.
So, I mean,
you know, guys, you know, I think one thing that I really see is that the teams are getting stronger every day. I think the guys who were mostly in the front, it was purely issue of confidence. You know, guys have been experienced and confident. Like, we can never take away this young boy, Prosper. Prosper gave a hell of a ride. You know what I'm saying? And you could see that he was only making rookie mistakes, you know, that really cost him maybe a podium. But other than that, he gave a good shot. A few guys from the likes of Tau, I think, Captain Wase Asdali now, he gave a brilliant ride, you know. So I think it was just the lack of experience there and there that I could pick up from the guys versus what KG would do and what a Voice would do and what a Mazola would do, and you know what I'm saying, who understood, for example, positioning, when to attack, when not to attack, where to reserve and where not to reserve. I think that's where we could differentiate between the experienced guys and the non-experienced guys. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, if we had to put that aside, all the guys were equally fit. You know what I'm saying? They were equally fit. They were up to the challenge, and like I'm saying, and I kept on saying that the ride was open. Anyone could take the jersey. We went there and we had to take the ride seriously. You know, we went there and I said to the guys, anything can happen. We were so unfortunate. We had a crash at the back. Two of my guys. The captain had a technical, had 2 punchers. So we ended up having 3 guys only. of the 10 that I mentioned, I ended up having 3 guys. The rest, they had issues. I had only Veni, Mazola, and Ronnie. You know what I'm saying? And then the captain had to chase. That's why Nati only joined after the 90 kilometer. Because then he had to change after he had changed the tire. So now all our plan changed. So we had to change, and Ronnie had to take the baton of being the domestic for the day. That is why we needed. You see, what we saw what Voice was doing, because I could see that it was simple. Voice just wanted to keep the tempo high, to eliminate as many people as he can, which was okay. And I said to Ronnie, dude, we also have to meet. We will ride at the same level that these guys are riding. If they are giving us 400 watts, we'll give them 400 as well. You know what I'm saying? Pain for pain. Pain for, we are not going to start. We are not going to start wheel here. We are going to fight the battle the same way that they're fighting. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we ended up having 3 guys.
Yeah, no, that's part of cycling. It's just one of those things you can't get away from. And I think I recall a conversation with the KG Ati. It's kind of like washing your bicycle. It's kind of something you have to do. You can't run away from it. So Sihle, maybe from your side, like hearing Voice and KG, talk about experience, and I know you run a program with young kids, so I think there's maybe an opportunity, for KG. I know he's probably going to say no, but there's probably an opportunity to I don't know, to teach these guys of tactics, that they've learned in racing.
One of the things is that we launched ama-attacks wethu ngesikhathi esi-wrong, especially ku-com, because uTebs our carbon body wazama, I think it was number 5, but we launched late, and the reason why I launched late was i-positioning yakhe bekaphakathi kwebhantshi, so he couldn't aphume fast so that azo-attack uVeni asaqala. And number 2, uTau ku-finish, uTau no Lee bebashayo was still futhi positioning. So when you talk about positioning and you talk about timing, this is shy, and it's something that we're gonna work on it.
Yeah. KG, you were saying something now.
No, I actually wanted to come in where you're saying, Hore. I mean, we actually need more initiatives as cyclists to just teach one another, because I mean, the more we ride together, that's the more you realize how little you know about cycling. I mean, even yourself, even myself, even everyone for that matter. Every time you pick up a bike or you watch a clip or you watch this, you realize, well, actually, I don't know much about cycling, So it's a learning process that is extremely continuous. So would I like to share the little that I know with anyone and everyone? Of course, it's a yes. No, I learned
a lot from you, KG, man, and you're one guy I look up to. And I think maybe we must have a separate 1-hour podcast, just you and I. We'll discuss.
No problem.
No, but let me ngiyabonga kakhulu lapho Eugene, at least KG sesikakhona. And I love istyle sevukani sokrider. and I also fell in love with Istayela Sevaki, soccer rider. So yeah, I think amajita azokwazi ukusipusha phambili silungisela ama-mistake lapho esifuna ukwalungisa khona.
Yeah. Okay, next I want to talk about the sprint, which I think Voice will probably be the best person to talk us through it, because they ended up taking it again. You know, how did that happen, Voice?
Yeah, coming to the sprint, same applied. We applied the same approach with the com. I remember when we were riding at the sprint, there was a time because there was a bit of headwind.
Yeah.
We were riding on a single file. So when we approaching the sprint, we sort of like bunch up, getting close to the sprint. So the moment when we get there, because I was in front of Scooter, I said, Scooter, stay alert now. We are approaching the sprint. When Mazola launched, I said to Scooter, follow them. Then Scooter followed the move. Fortunately for us, Mazola launched way too early, which eventually faded away, and then Scooter took advantage of that. If you can see, I think Mazola ended finishing number 3rd, because number 2nd it was Boo.
It was Boo, yes, who came from far.
Yeah, it was Boo, number 2nd, and he came from far. He came from with a Scooter actually, because they were riding together with Scooter when they were following a Mazola attack. So
yeah, but I just want to clarify that. I just want to clarify if it was Mazola going for the sprint or Mazola leading out Veni, because in the footage there we see Mazola, launched way too early, but it looked like it was a lead out. But unfortunately, Veni faded, I think.
Yeah, so maybe Veni, I think, and I'm not making any excuses. So Veni and Mazola were suffering from flu from the time trial. Remember when we were doing the time trial? It was quite windy, so they were so and when they came, we just had to do what we have to do, and I said, guys, we have to work and try and win it. So I think when Mazola launched, he launched trying to bring Veni, only to realize Veni didn't follow or couldn't sustain the launch, because he started and he faded just before Mazola could move to the side, and hoping that Veni was behind them. And I want to find out he was actually leading out an opposition, and unfortunately that's what happened on the day. And I must say to Scooter's timing was perfect. Scooter's timing was very, very much perfect, because his late responses actually put him at an advantage, because every time Vini and Mazola would go, he would come number 3 or number 4. In that way, he automatically then became in the right position. You know what I'm saying? Because the guys that we had hoped they were going to be there were not there, because they had other mechanicals at the back. So I think his timing was quite good.
Yeah.
That's why he caught us off guard.
It happens, man.
But it won't happen again. Tell Scooter it won't happen again.
And then
I'm sure you guys.
Now go ahead, Voice.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys, you were not expecting Scooter to be there in the kitchen, if I may put it that way, where the things are happening. If I may put that way. Yeah, well, I had to guide Scooter not to launch too early, because from where I was sitting, I was not too sure whether Mazola was leading out Vini, because I didn't know the strategy of ECC, who was going to go for the com or for the sprint. Yeah, but looking at the video when they were launching the attack on the sprint, when Mazola launched, Vini did not respond. He did not move. Proper is the one who responded, and Scooter to Mazola launch, and then followed by Zbu. So I think Vini had already felt the effect of the efforts that we were putting at the back, especially at the side where there was a crosswind. So that was the plan
It's a
when
deep
we were riding
section.
there to say, yeah,
Hey,
that was the
Baba.
plan to say when I was in front, let's try and hard as much as it can so that we can try and tire these guys. And Mazala was very smart as well. He realized this is getting harder and harder. He was sitting at the back most of the time. He didn't want to be expose himself in front to burn his matches. He was smart. He was very smart.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then from a Vugani perspective, I mean, KG, did you guys have a plan? Because I think you guys let it out actually, because Kelvin was there, and then you took it, and I saw you grimacing. You were fighting with that bike in that headwind.
Yeah, man. I think the main plan on the sprint was definitely to put Kanyile on a competing position, which I think it worked out pretty well because we had Kelvin and then it was myself. So Kelvin did a very strong pull over like 2 minutes top of a pull. So I commend him for that. Kelvin, he did exceptionally well. And then after Kelvin, I noticed Kelvin slowing down the pace. So I just knew that, okay, the legs are gone. Let me just take it and become the last lead out, We were facing headwind again at that time, but I think I tried pushing as hard as I can. Like I would see that I'm over 300 watts now. And then by the time I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm actually the last person now. And I'm getting closer and closer to the line. I'm like, you know what? This now seems like I'm taking everyone to the line. And then I said, no way. And behind me, I think Mazwala was also behind me. And then I said, no way. This is where I literally said, I'm cutting it now. They just have to do a long range sprint. And then I just moved on the far left and said, yay. Let me not say it, but I said, yay, dude. I'm moving out. But it was extremely hectic. But I think I cut it off too early so that they can do a long range.
Yeah, no, man.
I think, Eugene, maybe let me just add one thing there. The one thing that I saw a lot of teams doing, the mistakes, is that the teams were riding, but they were separated. They were not together. For example, a guy would lead another guy, but still you would lead your partner, but your partner is not behind you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what KG is saying, because Vugani started well, because when Kelvin was there, KG was there, but Zbu was in the middle, so he couldn't jump to the wheel that he was supposed to be in. You know what I'm saying? That's why when Kelvin went, KG went. When KG looked at the back, he's like, I'm working for an opponent here, and he had to stop. But it was, I think for me, I saw that it was too late. It was too late. And the same thing that happened to Almost Elites. You guys were too much on the left. You know what I'm saying? You were far left.
And there was a reason for that, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that I saw you leading, and Eno leading. Lizzo was the back, because I know Lizzo's got the power and the watts to try and contend. But when I looked at the position, I said, those guys won't make it.
No, so I think we were in an unfortunate position, because I think we got boxed in a bit, right? So it was the Vugani train on my right, and I was on the left hand side. So, and I mean, if you go back to the footage, there was a point I sort of half wheel Calvin, because it was the two of us in front. But then I'm like, no, man, it's kind of a headwind, but it's coming from the right a little bit, and that's where you see me slack back just behind Calvin, just for some shelter, right? And then we were constantly communicating with the Almost Elite guys up behind me, saying move to the left a bit, okay, up the pace a little bit now. And then I ended up emptying my tank and fading away, and that's when Eno took it up. But I don't think we were in a position to contend at that point, because I think the pace started really increasing, and I think we lost position and we just couldn't. And mind you, like I said, I think we burnt a lot of matches before that point. Our strategy coming into the ride was to impact. So I think we burnt matches, and we didn't really see ourselves trying to lead out Lizzo or anything like that. So that's what happened.
That's a lie.
Was Tao there?
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Was Tao in that sprint breakaway?
Yeah, bekakhona lapha ku-sprint breakaway. However, njengoba ngishilo, as amajita akhuluma little technicalities asishayile. positioning number one, and number two, timing. Yeah, but however much they were very strong. It's just that that we still have to sit down and have come up with the strategy. How do we do it better?
Yeah, no, that's good. And the podcast yeah, go ahead, voice.
I think what worked for us was like I said in the beginning, was the positioning at the right time. We were always in the right position at the right moment because we could anticipate what is likely to happen. When I forgot his name, the guy who was pacing before, what's his name? He took a very long pull from Vukan before KG could.
Was it not Kelvin?
Yeah, Calvin. Yeah. There at that moment, I was beginning to feel it because, the effect of the efforts that I did in the beginning was beginning to have an impact on my legs. So we were trying just to make sure that we are still in the right position at that particular time. But when KG took over, I know I could feel the legs. I don't have the legs to make a proper lead out for Scooter. I just made sure that we are there, close to the action when anything to happen. I said to Scooter, this is the right moment. Make sure you follow the right people when they start to launch. But when Mazola started to launch, I said to Scooter, you can go now. Because I realized that if we let Mazola go, then it will be too late to catch up when we start to sprint. Yeah. So I think that's really worked very well for us, was the positioning on the day.
Maybe another issue, Eugene, and I think the guys that did well are the guys that could stick together as a team towards the sprint. Because if you are not together, then it means that you can't communicate. You know what I'm saying? You can't give instruction. You cannot say to your guy, where's your guy? And that's where, again, I saw a lot of the guys where other one was on the left, others in the middle, others on the right. So whenever you try and communicate, that's why we see. So we. I just want to come back to what Voice said. When we dropped at the back, when Vini and Mazola dropped at the back, to allow you guys to work, it was exactly that. So that, because you see, when we went to the sprint, we needed to make sure that by the time we get to the sprint, the guys are together. Because we normally, immediately after you cross that 4-way towards the sprint, normally it breaks there and then it regroups. So when it regroups, it's very difficult for you to get your position where you want it. So we needed to make sure by the time we get there, make sure already you are with your team member so that your train is already together. If it's not together, you will never get it right.
Yeah. All right, cool. That was the sprint. Scooter took it convincingly. But I think, if it was for maybe a few more meters, I think Sbu would have taken it. Sbu came from far in a headwind sprint, and he came still very close to catching Scooter. So I think next time, Scooter must watch out. But
we all gunning for Scooter now. We are all gunning.
It's got competition now. It's got competition now. Everyone wants to go for Scooter.
So I think after our little pause or break, after the sprint, I think it was a Team Asdal Now show. Like, I think it was really, really impressive. I don't know who the other guy was, but Dao was definitely one of those guys.
The other guy,
Lava Boy.
Yeah.
I know. He loves the wind. That means because but I think before that we saw one of the greatest moves I've seen. KG taking a corner like a madman, trying to form a solo breakaway. Was it you trying to add spice and fits?
Pardon?
Or were you really trying to go for the win? What was the intent there? Were you going for a win or just checking things out?
Honestly, Eugene, my man, first of all, I love racing in the wind, And coming from the steps, you also notice that we were facing a little bit of a headwind. And whenever we face a little bit of a headwind, the guys tend to hide a lot, and then that's when a lot of mistakes tend to happen. I think even with one of the crashes that had happened, you can see that maybe it was a touch of wheels or just losing concentration per se, So moving into the left turn, I asked one of your teammates, I'm like, is this race going straight or it's turning left? And then your teammate told me that it's going left. And then I asked him, okay, is there still a gravel section there? And then he said, yes, there's still a gravel section. I'm like, okay, cool. And then from then on, one of my teammates came, cool. And then he asked me, hey, Baba KG, so what's the plan for the sprint? I'm like, hey, dude, you know what? I do not have any plan from the sprint. But I just knew from talking to your teammate that, you know what, at this key moment, I just need to try something, because all I knew is that I wanted to get through the gravel alone, and then I wanted to pass the intersection alone, because if there's a bit of traffic there can be a little bit of confusion, and then if you're not following the right wheel or someone makes a sloppy mistake, and then we stand a good chance of falling. And I just saw it as key and unexpectedly so to just make that attack. And
but it was so beautiful to watch, man. It was you just gliding into that corner. And we let you go. I don't know if people didn't have legs and you chose the perfect moment again. But no one followed you. And you were alone for a while. Up until I think,
I'm saying I actually didn't think I'll pull for such a long time. I thought maybe there might be a quick reaction. But every time I looked at the back, I'm like, man, what's wrong with these guys? Why are they not here? But at the same time,
1 minute gap.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Like, you know what? Let me just try and have fun. Let me just try hang on as much as I could and then see where my legs take me. But I think with the contribution that I did throughout the entire race, I think it also came there that the legs now just didn't come through for me.
Yeah, man, but you were being hunted, and you were being hunted by basically everyone on this call except for my
team. Right? Eugene, part of it again, if you remember what happened last year, last year for me was sort of tormenting because, first of all, we came in as almost a huge bunch, I think. And then, I don't get me wrong, Ephraim surged beautifully, but that's the only time that I saw Ephraim. And on top of that, it was a big bunch. So for me, I'm just happy with how the things turned out. When you single certain individuals to sort of work from it, especially from a long range. So I think that brought in a beautiful race dynamic.
Right. Now you heard it.
Eugene, just to come in there, I recall before Kahle would go, I was in front with him, we were speaking to say, he was asking me if I'm gunning for the yellow jersey. I said, look, with me, I don't have the legs. With the amount of work that I've done, I don't have the legs. And he also said the same thing to say he doesn't have the legs because he had worked as much as me. And then from that moment, we said the guys don't want to come in front. I was like, no, let's just ride. Let's let the pace drop if it has to drop. Then from there, I slightly reduced the intensity from my side. And then I just saw Katleho going. And then from the bunch, there was no one who wanted to follow Katleho. Maybe it was the issue that he said to say, people don't want to ride in the wind. They don't want to be exposed in the wind. So Katleho just went and nobody followed him. And nobody bothered to chase. Until Mazola realized he's leaving, he's going. And then he launched an attack. And then when Mazola launched, he was followed by, I think it's Prosper and Scooter and one of the two guys from Asdale now.
Yes,
from Asdale now. And then from the rest of the bunch, nobody wanted to follow the move. The guys kept going and the gap kept growing and growing and growing, and nobody wanted to chase. Then later on, when we were about to get closer, that's when the guys started to chase, and it was already late,
Yeah, but I think they were chasing this lone rider that was in front as well, who put in a massive effort. And I think you only got caught with probably 4 Ks to go, man. It was so close, I think.
I think it was like, I know from the big intersection, I think it was almost a kilometer or less than a kilometer towards the big intersection. Yeah, I was hoping to get to the intersection so that I could at least try and do an interval there, but no, man. I saw on the screen there that the watts just keep on decreasing, and the guys, I think you see from the videos that Scooter was praying there. I was praying for that yellow jersey, so I saw that. We're really putting in massive effort to close that gap. But yeah, I'm just happy it had to draw out, special individuals to give it a shot.
Yes. No, I'm happy, man.
That was a brave move. That was a really brave move, because remember, in cycling, if you don't take your risk and chances, you'll never know where you end. And we've seen in many times, even in the pro teams, a guy would go, they'll say, we'll catch him, boom, the guy wins. And I think when we got to the Brackenhurst robots, just after that downhill, I said to myself, if Cage can cross this hill with this power, he'll make it. He'll make it. And I think just after, I think for me, I think that the Brackenhurst hill, that for me, that was where I saw it, because KG really hit it very hard to try and break and go. But that I really need to commend you, KG, for that. That was a brave move. There was a brave move. And the Azlali Nawe boys, they also gave a very good show.
But I think really Donald, I think it does come down to experience. I mean, like we spoke earlier, Sihle. I mean, you have two teammates. They could have sacrificed one and they played cards a bit better. Also, I feel like positioning.
Yeah.
And I think they also did a lot of work trying to catch KG. Whereas if you look at Mazola, he's a sly fox, Mazola, man. Because if you look at Mazola, he was well positioned. I'm like, cool, the wind is actually coming from the right a little bit, and he was hiding on the left behind everyone else, where everyone else was in a single pace line. So I think the team as Dalnawe boys probably cost themselves the win by bad positioning and experience, but we'll fix that. That's not an issue. We'll fix that. But I mean, coming into that finish, it was so suspenseful. It was like watching a thriller, and I'm at the edge of my seat. You see KG there, it's like, crap, does he have enough energy still? You see Scooter in front leading it out and testing the guys and seeing if they still had something in the legs. And Prosper as well was there, not forgetting Prosper. Like, what a phenomenal ride from him. But in the end, it was a headwind sprint, and I think Mazola probably got the better of everyone due to probably resting his legs throughout the second half of the ride. And yeah, he took the win. He took the yellow jay. He was ecstatic. He cried, I think. But yeah, no, man. Kudos to everyone. I had probably the best day on the bike, and I mean, if I watch the footage, I really get goosebumps on how we came together, as Abodaki, and we had our own thing, and it was fun, it was nice, and I really hope that we can continue doing it. So I mean, looking forward to Voice hosting something, looking forward to Vugani hosting something, and I know Sihle, you've got something coming up as well on the 24th.
Wafa is to die.
Wafa is to die. Hey, people love dying in this sport of ours. Hey. So just in closing, guys, thank you so much. I think I had a good time unpacking what happened. So I'm just gonna leave it there. If you have any closing last words, you're welcome to speak it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hosting us, Eugene. And I just want to say to ECC, big up to ECC for organizing such a event. It was really nice to participate in the event. We from Waaki, we really enjoyed it. So it's always nice when we support each other. Without our support, I think there's no way we're going. So let's support each other as this black cycling community. We might be riding for different clubs, but yeah, we belong to the Black Cycling community. Let's support each other. Thanks.
Thanks, Voice. Sihle?
Yeah, ngifuna ukubonga kakhulu to ECC, Wafa was proper. And again, ama-team bawakhona, wonke umuntu bekazimisele, you know. We learn a lot. Bengisemotweni ngibukele everything. I think the technical side of it, we still have to work on it, but I learned a lot. Mangibona amachita dewa attack ngakhona, especially Scoot is totally blind. Yes. Would launch attack makata relax kancane, but I learned amachita when we did debrief clearly after the ride. They had a lot to say about the technicality, what we need to do as well. But ngibonga kakhulu.
Yeah, cool. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, maybe let me also just thank guys. Thank you very much for supporting the cause. The fundraise, it's really growing from strength to strength, and we're hoping, like you said earlier, that the other guys will also have other initiatives where we can have fun as well. Remember, Wafa, it's still a learning, still a baby. We are perfecting it as we go, you know, to make sure that the technical part is actually better, because you can see from what we've gotten from the first Wafa, we really try to improve it and make sure that, you know, but we'll never get everything right at once. So I just want to say thank you for the teams that came in, and we really hope that we will attend at least 3 of these events before the year ends. You know, not from ECC, but from other teams as well. You know, there are so many things that we can do. We can do this thing. We really can. So let's come up together in platforms like this with ideas, and let's do this thing. Thank you very much to everybody that came, and to the sponsors and everybody.
Yeah. KG mina nawe sohlangana ku-podcast mfethu, so this is not goodbye.
But basically, in short, yeah, kudos to everyone. And from my side, I can say, I'm sure everyone follows soccer, right? So you normally have a fantasy team and. So I think I do have a fantasy team for the day. Obviously, it comprises of different riders from different clubs. You know, I mean, having such a fantasy team also puts hope in us as a community.
Who's in the team? Who's out of curiosity?
I like that.
I'm also waiting.
I like that. I like that as well.
I mean, starting with the domestics, I mean, you have your likes of domestic, you have Voice, you have myself, and then you have your attacking, you have your Scooter, I mean, you have your Vini, I mean, you have your Tabiso. I mean, already that's a fantasy team on its own, and it comprises of super strong riders. And yeah, it's basically everyone that was noticeable on the day and who did a super strong contribution. I mean, your likes of Prosper as well. I mean, looking at those names alone, I mean, it's a really good fantasy team, don't you think?
You know what? Yeah. You know what we must do? What we must do in the next Wafa, we must mix things up. You know, put ECC riders with Baki riders in the same team and see what happens.
And create an actual fantasy team.
Yes, you know, have guys vote. You know, we create.
In actual fact, we had a fantasy team when we went to the sprint. If you look at the guys who were there when we went for the sprint, it was the fantasy team that Katle was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, with Bugatti leading everyone out there, so it was.
Yeah.
Okay. No, great discussion, guys. To the viewers, thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.